Brian, coming off another really good game, I think these have been the two most productive games of your brief career so far. Talk about the way you're running. Are you running any different this year? I mean, I know you're older. Are you doing anything different? Do you just feel more comfortable, or has anything really changed from what we saw last year to what we're seeing so far this year?
I worked on a few moves this offseason, not a lot. I just feel more confident, you know. I feel like I could play with anybody we step on the field with, and that's just the way I run.
Few moves. I'm curious. Can you share some of those moves that you've been working on?
You know, jump cut. I've been trying to use that more when I'm stuck, like when I'm pressed in the hole, can't get out, got a jump cut out of there. And stiff arm, I've been wanting to get that straight.
I wanted to ask you about that because we've seen a couple already this year, and there's a few against Washington State that were pretty impressive. Talk about that. I mean, how do you work on that, and how effective has that been for you so far?
Our coach, Coach Bath always brings out the big orange ball. You know, we just work stiff arming it. But, you know, he wants to stiff arm down. It works. I like stiff arm down, but it's hard to, like, break the tendency to, like, stiff arm up sometimes. So I got to just break that.
I'm sure it's rewarding every time you get a good run, whether it's, you know, you run by someone, run through them, but when you get a good stiff arm on somebody and knock them down and keep running, is that as good of a feeling you have running the ball, or is there better ones, I guess?
I mean, if you trash talk a lot, it's a pretty good feeling because, you know, you're going to let him hear about it the whole game. But when you're running the ball, especially at the collegiate level, for real, what you're thinking about is not getting hit.
Do you trash talk a lot? Does it get when you're out there after you get a good stiff, or anywhere? Would you consider yourself a trash talker?
I throw a few words out there.
Do you?
Yeah.
So, I got to ask. It's the fourth game of the season. It's the first conference game, and I know you guys are not off to the start you want. Does this almost feel like you're starting all over again because this is the first conference game, or do you look at any of that kind of stuff? And this is just the next game.
We just see this as a must-win game. You know, if we were in the NFL, this would have to be a playoff game right now. For real, we gotta win. We have to win to, like, you know, bring this season to life, and we can get this win. We could just, you know, set something up for the next win and the next win. You know.
Gotcha. I got to ask, too, no, you're out there. You got to worry about what you're doing when you had two true freshmen on the offensive line on that right side at Washington State. And, you know, I didn't watch the film. It looked like they held their own. I'm not saying that there weren't mistakes, but how'd you think they did? I mean, I know you ran to the right a few times and stuff. How do you think those young guys are doing out there and did out there last week?
Well, yeah, I think they did good. I didn't even think about the fact they were freshmen the whole time. You know, I was a freshman last year and Ryan was a freshman. So if you could play, you could play. That's how I saw it. And, you know, the run to the right was successful last week, and run to the left. I just think the O-line has just done an amazing job the past 2 weeks.